everyone, my name is Jenny. It's time for another Site Review Sunday, and in today's video I'm reviewing this National Forest campsite behind me. Stay tuned! I highly recommend simply typing in the GPS coordinates into Google Maps to get to this campsite. There are so many turns throughout the Black Hills National Forest that if you don't, you risk getting easily lost. I also recommend using Google Maps satellite view to find this little side road where we're camped because it looks pretty overgrown from the road and you might miss it. Getting all the way out here is actually incredibly easy. Once you leave the paved road, you have roughly 12 miles of gravel road to get out here, but don't worry, they're all very well maintained and they're not rutted at all. In my personal opinion, any size rig can make it out here, but getting into this campsite is a completely different story. The tiny side road that you have to turn off of Bear Mountain Lookout Road in order to get to where we've parked our rig right here is pretty overgrown. It is very steep. It has a slight curve in it, which wouldn't be a big deal if you didn't have to back into here. This is only a one-way in and one-way out road, and it used to be an old forest road that went who knows how far, but on Google satellite maps, you can actually see where it used to be an old road, but we've walked down past where our RV is stopped and it just ends. There are a bunch of downed trees and everything has been overgrown. So in order to camp right here, you do have to back your rig all the way in, park it right here, and then pull it back out. There is nowhere to turn around in here. Because of that, I really don't recommend anything larger than our rig to come back here. Our travel trailer is roughly 25 feet long and our truck is roughly 24 or 23 feet long, meaning our total rig length is about 50 feet, but we have the pivot point at our hitch in order to make some slight turns to get back down in here. If you want to give it a shot and try and get a larger rig than ours up here, just note that the only place to turn around after you get out here is at the parking lot at the Bear Mountain Lookout Tower, and if there's anybody parked there, you have no chance of turning around. So if you are coming out here and you think that you're not going to be able to fit here, then chances are you should probably just pick somewhere else. This isn't the only campsite that you can camp in here in the Black Hills National Forest. If you download the Black Hills National Forest motor vehicle use maps, there are 4 of them, it will tell you which roads you're allowed to camp off of, just like this. Even if it might be hard to spot and you just have to go exploring down those roads, there are a lot of other options. This is simply where we chose to camp. Besides a potential problem of the size of your rig not being able to fit in here, you also have a problem of possibly not being able to get level. We ended up having to drive the passenger side of our trailer up onto a little mound in order to even come close to getting level. The nose of our trailer is also dipped down really far because it is a very, very unlevel site. If you are able to get your rig down here and you're able to get level, you're allowed to stay here for 14 days in any 60-day period. And the signal here is excellent. Just up near the Bear Mountain Lookout Tower, you can actually see the cell towers around here. So we have very strong Verizon 4G LTE coverage. I believe we had 4 to 5 bars the entire time we were here, and it was always very fast. When coming out here to find dispersed camping, it can be a little confusing to know exactly what you're looking for because the dispersed camping out here has really no signs that you're allowed to camp there. There are no fire rings. It's not really cleared out very well, and the reason being is because there are literally no fires allowed any time of season here in the Black Hills National Forest. You're not allowed to have tiki torches to keep the bugs away. Literally no fires allowed. So if you're wanting to come out here and go camping and you're planning on having a campfire, I recommend picking a different area. The nearest dump station to this campsite is at Custer State Park Game Lodge, and it's 29 miles away, and you also have to pay a day use fee. The nearest free dump station is at Cabela's in Rapid City, South Dakota. The nearest propane fill we found was in Custer, South Dakota. It's at an AmeriGas, and it's about 15 miles away. The nearest grocery store is also in Custer, South Dakota at Lynn's Dakota Mart, 15 miles away, but their selection is really limited. The nearest supermarket is at a Walmart in Rapid City, which is 46 miles away. If you plan on coming out here to camp, I recommend provisioning in a big city before you come out here. Because these are gravel roads, it actually takes much longer than you would expect to go 15 miles in order to go grocery shopping or fill your propane. Some of the pros of camping here include that it is incredibly quiet. Sometimes the wind will pick up and you'll get some wind noise through the trees, but for the most part, there is little to no traffic on the road nearby, and it is so insanely quiet. And then at night when the sun sets, because we're pretty far from Rapid City, the sky is actually pretty dark. So if you're wanting to come out here and do some night sky photography, that's definitely something you could accomplish. We also love that there was amazing strong 4G signal and calling signal here, and that the roads were so well maintained. Sometimes you don't get really well maintained roads in a national forest, so we were pleasantly surprised. One of the reasons that we believe that there's so little traffic out here on this road is because the road past Bear Mountain Lookout Tower is actually closed right now while we're here. We're not really sure why, but it is closed to motor vehicle traffic. And the lookout tower is actually also closed because of the pandemic. So we believe that the reason very few people are traveling out here is because after this area right here, everything's closed. When we first showed up to this area, we did drive all the way down to the lookout tower, and we saw a couple other campers camped a lot closer to the lookout tower. However, we cannot see them from here. They are at least a quarter mile away from where we are, and in the opposite direction, we haven't seen any campers at all. So you really, truly are secluded out here. This little area we parked right here as well is excellent for solar. As you can see, there are no trees blocking our solar panels at all whatsoever, and it smells amazing here. Most of the pine trees that we are surrounded by are ponderosa pine trees, and if you have never been around ponderosa pine trees, their sap smells so good. It has a slight sweetness to it, and so when the wind picks up, the air just smells like sweet pine trees. There are also so many things for you to do here in the Black Hills National Forest. There is Mount Rushmore, there's Hill City, there's Custer. All of these places have adorable little shops, they have wineries, there are tons of hikes to do, and there are so many off-roading trails out here. So if you want to come and spend a nice amount of time in this national forest, you will have an abundance of things to do here. Some of the cons of camping here include that it is very far from the nearest city. Rapid City is the nearest city, and it is 46 miles away, and with all of the gravel roads out here, it takes us an hour and 20 minutes to get there. Also, because this campsite is literally just the end of an old dead-end forest road, orientation is pretty important. This is the only way that you can really be oriented if you back in. Otherwise, if you pull in, you're oriented the exact opposite way. And remember, there's only one way into camping here and one way back out. Besides getting level being a massive pain, if you are someone that really enjoys campfires when you're out camping in a national forest, you have to be very aware that campfires are not allowed here, not even the tiki torches. I know I mentioned this already, but if you are caught having a campfire, you are going to get a massive fine. Something else that we've noticed that is actually really strange here is that the weather is constantly changing. There's an area nearby called Thunder Basin, and while here, despite a day possibly saying that there's no rain in the forecast, we might actually still get rain that day because clouds and thunderstorms and hailstorms are actually just popping up from there and then traveling directly through the Black Hills National Forest where we're camping. This has been an everyday occurrence for us while we've stayed here, so it has been relatively difficult to plan which days we want to leave and go explore. However, most of the time when it rains, it's not raining all day, it's just spotty here and there, so it is something that you can work around. Something else you really need to be aware of is here in the Black Hills National Forest, they not only have black bears, but they also have cougar, and we've done some research online, and there are actually more cougar living here in the Black Hills National Forest than there are black bears. So not only do you need to be bear aware, but you need to know not to leave your pets outside unattended. Besides cougar, there are also coyote, there are foxes, There are lots of animals that can possibly harm your pets if you're letting them outside at all. Don't worry though, we are happy to report that for our entire 2 weeks, 14 days that we stayed here, we did not see a single bear, whether we were driving out or driving in, and we definitely didn't see any cougar while here either. The biggest annoyance and the biggest con that we have had, now this could be different for some of you, but the biggest one that we have had is that after about 3 days of camping here, all of a sudden we were swarmed by flies and bumblebees and butterflies and ants and spiders. There were a lot of bugs here, and if you don't like bugs and you have issues with bugs getting into your RV often, then you may not want to camp here at all. Our biggest issue is that the flies seem to swarm around the sides of our RV that are shaded, and unfortunately, since our door side of the RV is shaded most days, there are a lot of flies that tend to fly into our RV. Remember when camping in a national forest, or on any public land for that matter, that the rules are to pack out what you pack in. Whether that mean a toilet that you have made for yourself in order to use the bathroom out here because there are no bathroom facilities, or if you just have trash bags that you need to take with you, make sure that you take all of that with you. Leaving trash behind just makes the national forest more difficult for other people to enjoy. When you're coming to a campsite and it's covered in trash, people can get very upset. Luckily, this campsite that we picked right here had no trash previously left behind, and we are making sure that we're packing out everything that we've brought with us. And if you are going to come out here, it is always a great idea to leave a campsite better than what you found it. Be sure to follow all the rules while camping here in the Black Hills National Forest and follow the 14-day camping rule. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching my campsite review of this National Forest campsite off of Bear Mountain Lookout Road in the Black Hills National Forest. Anything that I've missed in this campsite review, I will be sure to put in my blog post, and you can find that link in the description down below. So I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!